Hello and welcome to a game of Dota 2. We are watching Star Ladder. It is StarSeries Season 7. It is Day 7. It is Game 5 of a day where there were indeed 5 games, or are 5 games. This is our last game of today. Uebelst will be up against Kaipi. And before I introduce my co-caster even, I'm going to tell you something about Uebelst here, because Uebelst actually is, of course, replacing CD, who was... who has had some roster issues. Actually, a couple went to Rocks and the others went elsewhere. But Uebelst, of course, only joining basically a couple of days into the season. At that point, CD had already played a couple of games, including once up against KP. That was the first game of the season that we saw last week, Saturday. And KP lost against CD, so they must be very happy that they get themselves a chance to make this right, that they get a chance to still get themselves a win and therefore be unbeaten. If they win this one, they will go back to being unbeaten. So far, they still have the points that they got from with CD. In the scores as well, you'll see Uebelst still sitting on 1 win as well that they have gotten from KP in theory, but that will be removed if they lose here. But we'll see if they can keep their win or if it will be taken away. That's what I meant about it being a rematch, and also, of course, welcome to the broadcast, Wickermond, my co-caster. Oh, I forgot! He is actually okay for a minute. He has a meeting at 10 to, so I kind of forgot about that. Doesn't matter. He will be here soon, though. Don't worry about that one. We have got ourselves a couple of bans thrown out there. It will be IO and Batrider removed from the pool. No surprise there. One thing that I am quite surprised about is the Marana ban out, but then again, maybe a bit of insight in terms of what Uebelst Gaming likes to play here. With also the Naga Cyber removed from the pool, it will be a Clockwork that gets picked up first by Uebelst. I'm very glad about this, because this is a perfect pickup for Uebelst, not just because it's a strong hero overall, but because you know that KP really loves to have that. Bone 7 really loves to have that. And he's not going to have it this game. We are going to have the Visage from AY 2000 though, as he has been playing those more micro-heavy supports when he's standing in, and yes, he is still considered a stand-in. The Dark Seer will be there as well, so that will be Bone 7's hero indeed, instead of the Clockwork. So, I guess good pickups for Uebelst. They picked themselves up a Weaver as well, so they'll have that one to be on the off lane or on the safe lane. Basically, you can fulfill a lot of roles, because on the off lane we're going to actually assume Clockwork, so we're going to assume Weaver a safe lane, which would mean that Uebelst is now forced into a bit more of a carry kind of mid, and those, or a core kind of mid, and those ones could be of course banned out by KP, something like the Dragon Knight or the Templar Assassin, or at least mids that can definitely transition into a nice carry into the later stages of the game. We have an Abaddon banned out first though. Timbersaw of course still in the pool as well, and Eternal Envy, kind of known also for drafting Spiritbreaker sometimes, so who knows, maybe we're going to have him in the pool, as we have seen Spiritbreaker running a lot of lineups, or running a lot of lineups that actually had support. What am I saying? Spiritbreaker was running lineups that were victorious. That's the one I wanted to say. Chen removed from the pool, which is interesting, because I was not expecting a Chen. Chen would basically mean that Pylai plays Visage and then AY plays a Chen. But Visage will be, of course, AY's hero. But, oh well, there's a Spirit Breaker ban. Not in the team that I was expecting it from, but nonetheless, it is a ban. With an Enchantress removed from the pool as well. I don't think that KP is too sad about those, as Uebelst picked up an Enigma. We're going to see a lot of Enigmas today, don't we? Not normally a hero that we see that often anymore, but definitely a strong one when it comes to just sitting in the jungle and taking a lot of farm. It does mean that Uebelst wants to go for this dual lane, do a safe lane. And that actually means that if KP wants to run an aggressive trail lane, they'll only be up against a dual lane with an Enigma in the jungle. And that might be very successful. We still have, of course, that Visage, one of the stronger supports that you can get.
10 seconds
and a lot of combinations are able to be made with him. With, of course, we see Sand King, we see Nyx Assassins. I mean, I can continue naming all supports, but there is a lot. I mean, we haven't even seen a Rubik today, and he's a very strong support as well. Now let's see what KP picks up here, because of course they are the ones to pick up a hero after Enigma got picked up by Uebelst. They're ticking into their bonus time right now, and it's gonna be a Bane. So Visage Bane is the call. Also, still a possibility to be an aggressive tri lane, but we shall see. Uebelst, they still need a core. They need a core mid, and they need an well, potentially a support. I'm gonna assume support. So they need a dual lane, or a mid and a dual lane, or the dual lane, depending on what Weaver is going to be doing, of course. And Weaver is going to be doing either mid or off lane, or sorry, safe lane. Wow, am I messing things up here? 5th game of the day, maybe that's the cause. But we're gonna assume Weaver on the safe lane, by the way.
Seconds remaining.
But we have seen him in mid before. It depends on what KP is planning to have Sing Sing play. Who's, by the way, playing under the tag of Beaver Knight, in case people hadn't realized. I see a lot of people asking. So Beaver Knight is Sing Sing. In terms of lineup, we are not seeing anything that is unexpected. Uebelst, they have not got Pus this time. They ran with Pus in a couple of games that we saw from them on Wednesday. Armen is also a German player. Uebelst, of course, a German team that has been around for ages. And different compositions. Basically, anybody that you see in a competitive scene that is German has played on Uebelst at one point or another. And right now they're playing with Armen, who is not official in Uebelst, but will be standing in and has been a professional Dota player a while back. I think some people might still recognize him, of course. We're gonna see what Uebelst goes for here, though, because they are now ticking into their bonus time as well. And they definitely are thinking hard about the next one. I would like to see some aggressive mids coming out from Uebelst, because right now you have a lot of heroes, and Alchemist adds to that as well, that are not able to do that much yet until they're level 6 or higher. And when that has happened, okay, welcome back. When that happens, I'm kind of curious if KP is going to try to take advantage of that and go for some early aggression with their supports, because they definitely can. And welcome back indeed to my co-caster, Vikermond.
Hi. So I'm not back permanently necessarily. Nobody showed up to this meeting, so I'm keeping an eye on it. But okay. I think what Uebelst were digging into their time to decide on was they have the option of going combo with Timbersaw there, because he's not banned.
Yeah.
But and he can saw right on top of the black hole, and you basically win the fight. But once they saw the Bane, they were like, I don't know if we want this anymore, because Bane will very easily be able to disrupt Enigma if he's just outside of the fight. So should we go more solid and just take this incredibly good carry of the Alchemist, or do we want to double down on the combo? And I think they made probably the more justifiable choice with the Alchemist, but certainly it is unfortunate that they didn't get access to that very strong combo.
There's still potential for them to pick up Timbersaw, I guess, if it makes it through the next banning phase. We have seen Timbersaw mid before. And we're gonna assume for now, well, Alchemist mid, I guess is probably the case here. I mean, in theory, Clockwork could be a support, but they have then, that won't happen. I'm not gonna expect that to happen. Okay, so Alchemist mid, Weaver safe lane, and Enigma in the jungle, and Clockwork off lane that just needed support. Very easy for KP to ban out a support that they don't want to deal with, by the way, which would possibly be a Rubik, because Rubik up against the Bane is, of course, very nice, stealing that Fiend's Grip.
Yeah. Alternately, there's always the power of the Pentacore.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, with the support, with the Visage and a Bane already picked up, KP is gonna be able to punish that real easy, as Shadow Fiend gets picked up, and I mean, they can! One of the downside of Shadow Fiend is that he's susceptible to ganks early on.
Yeah.
And look at Uebelst, he can't gank. Easily, at least.
I do think that I like the Shadow Fiend pick. I really think this Alchemist is actually support. It's Alex plays support Alch a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted to run Clock mid and then the Alchemist as a support, but I don't know about Clock mid anymore.
Hey.
It's going to be tough against Shadow Fiend.
You know his hero is still in the pool as well? OD.
Yes.
We've seen Exist playing a lot of OD.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, OD's available.
Never mind.
Yep. Good call, but there it goes.
There it goes, indeed. Lifestealer that want to get banned out by Uebelst. Well, there's still Queen of Pain, so that will be indeed, like you said, Alex, Alchemist support. I like it later on. It has a lot of minus armor gimmicky thingies, and that definitely hurts a lot. Coming off an unstable concoction from an Alchemist with the Swarm on there inside the Acid Spray. Looks pretty, and of course Alchemists do have the chance to be going for a bit of a more important role later on, depending on how many wards he has to buy, how good the game is going for them, of course. I mean, that's definitely an issue there.
10 seconds remaining.
I feel like there's a lot of
Kaipi
pressure
giving
on
Shadow Fiend to Sing Sing, though.
Yeah.
It definitely lets him do that role of just dominating the game in the mid game by good positioning and mechanics, because he's a player with very strong mechanics.
And I find that also, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on this Queen of Pain. Never mind. Well, Storm Spirit will be then Sing Sing's hero, I would assume.
Even more so, yeah.
And, I mean, whoever gets to the Orchid first wins.
It's side lane carry Storm for
Oh, we've seen this. This is, but this is, you remember, because we casted that game together, the game that this is basically a redo of, which is the first game of the season, CD versus KP. We saw Envy playing a Storm, and it did not work out. He rushed a Bloodstone,
yes,
and it did not work out.
That's true. That said, 2 days before that, they ran it
Yeah.
in the finals of ISO Cup, and they won with it. So it's not. It has a lot of potential. I do think there's some potential pratfalls of going for that, like going for the Bloodstone above all else against certain compositions. But certainly, side lane Storm Spirit is something that we've seen periodically, and multiple teams have made it work. I don't hate this draft from Kaipi at all. I do like the Shadow Fiend. That game where we saw it peter out, they gave Sing Sing Beastmaster. And I actually think the Beastmaster was a way worse choice than the side lane Storm Spirit. There's a huge difference in that game and this game, which is that here they have somebody to do damage while Envy is farming.
That's very true. Beastmaster was not able to get that much going in that game at all. Let's see who's playing what. Uebelst will be on the Dire side, the Germans. Will have the Clockwork played by EDE, or Edward, however you want to call him. He's going to play the Clockwork. On the off lane, it will be Alex, indeed, as predicted, playing the Alchemist. He'll be on the support role and already starting to play some wards to get that rune control there, which is of course going to be very important for Uebelst to get, because they need to win that mid lane for the Queen of Pain. Otherwise, don't really have that much to fall back on later on, depending on how well the other lanes do. We have got on the safe lane, it will be Sky playing the Weaver. He's going to be a carry Weaver. He will of course be supported by the Alchemist. And just keep your tabs here on this Alchemist, because looks like we're going to have an aggressive trial on our hands, which is good of course. Exist will play the Queen of Pain. He'll be on the mid role, and in the jungle will be Arman. He'll be playing the Enigma, and that will be our our jungle hero, and he is supposed to be maybe coming out of the jungle a couple of times to try and make that dual lane a little bit more safe, as we have got the haste rune on the Bane, allowing him to be so aggressive. Gets a stun thrown at him, but already went for an Enfeeble up on the Queen of Pain, and that allows Sing Sing to be maybe a little bit more comfortable here in that mid lane.
Yeah. By the way, I got made fun of for our pronunciation of the German team on the Dire.
Uebelst.
I guess it's more like Uebelst or something.
There's
like
no extra E.
Not, oh yeah, so it is. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing. Either way, Radiant is Kaipi. One of the, I think the teams favored, or more favored, to try to make a run at the playoffs this year. Of course, they actually did qualify for the playoffs last time, but
yeah, Pylai is going to be going down. Oh, Alex was charging up the stun. Went for it. Our men went for it as well. There's no Malefice or anything like that. Everybody's still level 1, but this should be a pick-off, especially with that army of Eidolons sitting behind our men.
Yeah, no, there's no way Pylai lives, unfortunately. He's got Enfeeble and not Nightmare, so he can't even deny himself. So that'll be the first blood. Not a huge deal, but if Araman gets it, that's a very nice start to his jungling as Enigma. Enigma already an incredibly fast jungler, so being able to ramp that up is a pretty big deal. I think I was gonna introduce Kaipi. Yeah. So Pylai, the guy about to die, is on Bane. He's joined in this top lane in this aggressive tri-lane by Bone7 on the Darkseer and AAY 2000 on the Visage. Then in the bottom lane, Eternal Envy is currently solo safe on the Storm Spirit, hard farming Storm Spirit role. He's been really liking these intelligence carries in the safe lane, so. And then of course that leaves Sing Sing playing as Beaver Knight.
Yeah, Sing has maybe goes down here. Alex coming with the stun. That's indeed a kill.
This is a great start for Uebelst.
Yeah, for sure. No extra E. Uebelst. I don't know, I once had training, but it doesn't really pay off. Ooh, the slow is there up on Sky. Bone7 and AY want to try and take him down. They want to try and get a kill, and they do. Visage with the last hit, AY. Getting himself some extra gold.
Yeah, that's excellent kill. Very important to bring that Weaver down, try to limit the farm that... He's going to be producing almost all of their auto-attack damage. Alchemist is like a auto-attack ramper, basically. Like, he gets Weaver bigger faster because he's going to go straight for Medallion and just drop Acid Spray Concoction on the things that Weaver is targeting. But it's still important for Weaver to have a good game, and any kills that they can land on him are very important. Yeah,
I do think that kill in the mid, of course, made a big difference here to help Exist on his way. I mean, he had the Enfeeble at the start of the game, so he was getting he was starting a little bit behind, but right now he's 6-1 with 1 kill under his name. Still 12-4 on the Shadow Fiend though, and he's still got 12 souls as well. So he's not really winning the lane just yet, but that kill definitely helped him for at least not losing the lane.
He's still not doing too great, but certainly, yeah, he does a lot better with that.
Yeah, Alex in the meantime getting harassed towards the lane by AY, still protecting his Darkseer. We also have a rotation though from Pylai. He went back to the bottom lane, started to stack and pull. It actually enfeebled one of the ogres, which is kind of interesting, because you know potentially want to try to deny a creep wave, and that way it's not really possible.
Well, he's gonna do the dual pull, so.
Oh yeah, that definitely helps. But yeah, rotating back. And we have Enigma, who is of course getting the first blood, who has a soul ring already, has a smoke already, and this is a very scary, possibly soon ganking Enigma.
For sure. One thing I really want to watch too is EDE's performance this game on Clockwork. He has a player that in Uebelst's, I don't even know. In Dyer's past games, he's struggled to perform sometimes, especially on Nature's Prophet. But his Clockwork was definitely stronger, and the other thing is he's typically been boxed out of the lane and not gotten any levels. But here he's actually already level 4.5, so he's doing much better. Bone 7.
Yeah, in some trouble. He has a Surge of Cooldown again. There could be a Malefice if there's another stun. No. Armen getting slowed down. AY saving his Darkseer once again.
Dire's top tower.
Smart play from AUI there. Good, pretty good. I know that he has been training this 4 role for Kaipi. I think, I don't know if it's official yet, but it seems like it's getting close to official that he's going to be their 4 player.
Yeah. Maybe waiting for some contracts to be finalized or something like that.
Oh, probably. The Dignitas, yeah.
We'll see how that goes. As we have got, of course, I mean, the Clockwork, I mean, he's level 4. He's actually doing that not that bad in compared to levels of Envy, who's level 5. And I think this is probably a pretty decent lane for him to have. I mean, he's got 16 last hits. We have seen clocks today that were doing way worse than he is. So we're going to see how much he can do with the farm, though. That's, of course, the question. How much can he make happen? Clockwork is one of those heroes that is definitely a playmaker. Can he be that kind of...
he's going to do some good damage.
He's going to be making a play. In comes...
Sick!
Nice, in comes the Cogs, and Eid gonna be able to kill off the Storm before Storm reaches level 6. Nice solo pickup for this Clockwork, and well, I think we know that he is gonna be able to make plays. He's now level 6.
That was so smart. Just before when you know that he doesn't have Ball Lightning, all you need to do is get in range. Owie 2000 in trouble in top now.
Here comes the Alchemist also. The Malefice already there. That's still the Alchemist with the kill. Bone 7 looking for a way out, finds it with a Surge, but has to leave his teammate dead on the floor.
They get he kills.
Oh my god!
Or didn't use hook, but he trapped again with the cogs. This is the amazing thing about this battery assault heavy build, is if you get close to them and they don't have an escape mechanism, you will probably kill them, and that is a huge tool that you simply do not have if you go heavy into Rocket Flare. This is the strength of battery assault. Clock walks away from this lane, 2 kills and treads.
Yeah, Storm Spirit now at least being a level 6, so he has got Ball Lightning. And he will have an escape next time, but he did make sure that that Clockwork is going to be a pretty scary sight. And he will be able to make a play. As talking about playmakers, we have Airman smoked up and in the middle lane. They are going to try to maybe box in Bone 7 though. In comes a Malefice. In comes an Alchemist Stun as well. Maybe Sing Sing can try to help him out. But the Black Hole from the high ground of the Sonic Wave. Wow, they really wanted Bone 7 dead, didn't they?
They sure did, but that was actually a really sick black hole placement, and he would have gotten away, so it's fine. Make the gank worth it. They also want to get assist gold for the Queen of Pain, since again he's getting. I don't want to say he's not getting trashed, but it's not a good lane for him. Shadow Fiend is doing much better.
He is half the amount of last hits of the Shadow Fiend as Eid finds himself another solo kill on a solo support that doesn't have an escape. It's the Visage. That was level 3, by the way. It's a fairly easy pickup in terms of levels. I mean, Familiars might have been able to help out, but level 3 Visage and also level 3 Bane are gonna be food for this Clockwork. And 3-0. I think Ida has a very fun game on his hands here. If he continues.
This is definitely the strongest performance we've seen from this player. He's doing extremely well. Maybe he wants to be like, hey, Bone 7, you're not the only good Clockwork in this.
Are we gonna see another Armlet? We've seen Mag with Armlet already twice today.
I think Armlet's legit, so we could.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's gone Treads, which is a very rare choice, and it suggests that he wants to do more auto attack damage than you typically see from Clock. So Armlet would be the correct way to build that out, right?
Mm-hmm. You're right. One who could hookshot, perhaps. He is we've got not enough mana actually. Would like to see him, I don't know, having some more mana, maybe trying to make more plays, but he's still trying to slow down Envy's farm. And that's why he's there, of course. That's why he's on that lane, to try and slow down Envy's farm. Top lane, having some issues. Pylite die, you'll die. Boom. And that's gonna be Weaver with another kill. And that's ownage being called. And I was saying, like, at the start of this game, KP had a chance to get themselves back, like, the loss that they suffered in the first game of the season. Because as the scores are shown right now, the scores are still shown as if CD has played that game, but Uebelst is now here to redo the game. They're on the right path to try and copy the result of CD.
Yeah, although to be fair, Kaipi aren't doing as bad as it seems from the scoreline. Like, they're farming up 3 heroes. Bone 7 went Midas on the StarSeries, so he's gonna have a lot of items a lot later. And Sing Sing is doing amazingly well. Like, this Shadow Fiend's farming no problem. So even with 8-1, Uebelst aren't that strategically ahead. Kaipi are moving towards the point at which they're suddenly going to be really scary.
Yeah, the question is if Uebelst can keep the pressure on, if they can try to force KP out of the map, if they can try to get some map control in terms of stopping people from farming, stopping all their cores from KP farming, because as you said, I mean, there's a lot of people farming on the map for KP. And Darkseer definitely going to be scary with the hand of Midas. I have to say, Bone 7, in my opinion, innovating offlane items in the heroes that I've seen him in this week.
Oh yeah, this guy's like a freaking think tank about how to play the offlane.
The first one to play the Armlet Clockwork. And for me, it's, I think, the first time hand of Midas Darkseer.
Yeah, this is the second time he's personally done it, but it's definitely rare on anybody not named Bone 7.
Yeah, for sure. Sing Sing so far, 62 last hits. He's highest on the last hits graph, also highest in terms of net worth. So pretty solid for him. And actually Bone 7, like right behind him. Clockwork also around there, of course, as well. As we have Exis actually rotating around a little bit right now, which is... Oh, wait a second, Alchemist gets picked off. He tried to get some solid farm in the mid lane by himself, but that's going to be a rotating Storm Spirit as he goes down. Also, Bane going down to the top lane. Sky just able to pick him off by himself. No real competition, I would say that. A support versus a carry weaver that's been doing fairly well on his lane.
Yeah, it was a smart dive. He put the bug on Bane very, very early, so the bug was chewing away armor and making it very easy for him to kill, even with the Enfeeble on him. So, nice kill by Sky. Picking off Alex is nice too, actually. You want to hold him off that medallion for as long as possible. A medallion for a support alchemist at like the 6-minute mark or something can just win you the game outright. But now that it's been slowed down to about 11 minutes, it's much better.
Oh, shut in!
This is scary though.
Oh,
no,
Aestrum still up by Shadow Fiend, so... Oh, Eat gets himself away. Wow, they're playing careful here for KP. Not knowing one's up the high ground, I guess. But no mana up on the Clockwork. They could have gone no cogs or anything like that.
Yeah, but maybe they can get Sky.
Oh, yeah, they can. Vortex there, Brain Step as well. And the time lapse is already used while trying to take down Pylai Die. So Envy gets himself a second kill while he's off the lane on the bottom. And if like this is a different role than we've seen him play last game that we saw, or like last week that is, when we saw him playing Storm Spirit on the safe lane. He actually stuck on the safe lane the entire game almost.
His levels were worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's actually anticipating and being in fights and picking off some heroes as he can, and that way getting his farm up, which is way more effective, I believe, than what he did last time.
For sure, and it'll improve your Bloodstone timing as well, realistically, even compared to free farming. If you can stack up kills, it's not only good for your team to, get those people down, it's also, it'll move you to your Bloodstone very quickly.
Very true. We've got a BKB up for the first item for Shadow Fiend, as in, not up, but it's starting to be built up. He's got himself, so for only the Ogre Club. But he'll get it. But it looks like Uebelst is done trying to be toyed with, and they're gonna group up. 5-man mid, we have got level 6 on Alchemist, we've got a Black Hole pending up on Enigma, we've got a Sonic Wave up, Time Lapse, they're done playing nice. Clockwork picks up a solo Darkseer in the jungle, that's a big pick off, again, for Eid. As a tier 1 drops, and it doesn't look like KP is in any... Well, has any intention of trying to fight it.
Yeah, there was a good pick off for ED. Without Bone 7, it's going to be a little tricky. No wall, no vac.
Hello, AY 2000. Nice hook shot. Flare, of course, scouting out where he was, and AY will not be able to stay alive through this one. That means that we're going to see a tier 1 tower bot probably picked up as well, and that means all tier 1 towers on the side of KP are then picked off, with all tier 1s on the side of Uebelst still standing, though the tier 1 top is going to be going down at the same time as the tier 1 bottom.
Looks like they're going to defend.
Indeed. In comes a Fiend Script from Pylai Die on the other side, though. More TPs coming in. They want to try and save their Weaver, but it's not possible anymore. Clock still TPing in, but he's out of mana. What are you doing now? Tower goes down, no deny for Eid, and TP into his death for the Clockwork here by the looks of it.
Yeah, that was a pretty fateful misplay. Weaver couldn't even time-lapse after the end because he didn't have the mana, because Fiend Script drains your mana away. So, complete feed of 2 players to the Envy machine, which is... moves him extremely close to Bloodstone now.
Yeah, very scary indeed. Queen of Pain still able to help kill off the tower, of course. I mean, towers are now, on the tier 1s are now done on the side of KP, which is important, not just for the tower gold that Uebelst gets to get ahead, but also because it makes the map smaller for KP to try and farm in. KP will, or Envy will not feel the map shortage that much because he's been having a good game since he died in that bottom lane and he feels quite confident, I think. But definitely Shadow Fiend will be able to walk around a little bit less, and Darkseer of course as well, Bone 7, as he's been picked off in his own jungle before already, and that's gonna hurt KP a little bit for sure.
It will. That said, I think overall KP are quite a bit ahead.
Yeah.
Because Storm Spirit is going to comfortably hit a very fast Bloodstone timing. Shadow Fiend is way ahead. And this Weaver, after all these deaths, has almost nothing. He's nowhere near Lincoln Sphere, really. And just the fact that he's going Lincoln Sphere in the first place means he's not going to be doing that much damage. Alchemist, he has Medallion, but he hasn't been able to do that much other than that. I just feel like Kaipi are really advancing their goals, and just nobody on Uebelst is really farming well enough to justify how all-in they've been. Clockwork is having an amazing game, and Aghanims will help him do even more good hooks, but is it enough when suddenly you're just not going to be able to kill the people you hook? I'm not sure.
Well, as we see on the gold graph, I mean, you're absolutely right. The gold is actually slightly in favor of KP, while they are 2 towers behind, and that's impressive. Experience graph goes towards 5k in favor of KP. No surprise there, indeed. As you said, they're just slightly ahead. We almost have the BKB up on the Shadow Fiend, who hasn't really been involved in any fights apart from, of course, that first kill that he had in the mid lane, or death that he had rather, when Alchemist came out from the high ground. And he's gonna have a big impact when he has his BKB ready, if KP actually decides to go when he has it, because they don't have any rush. I feel like if they make this into late game, they're still gonna be very comfortable with their lineup.
It
Uebelst,
might be nice to clear some towers, though.
Yeah, for sure. Although if that's Shadow Fiend's job is the second one. Uebelst, they rotate bottom. They've got 4 heroes inside the Radiant jungle. If they can get a hookshot in upon the Visage, who is hiding behind a tree, then that might be a way in for them. They are holding their ground, maybe seeing if they can force something out once they start pressuring the tower.
For sure. I do think that Shadow Fiend's completion of his BKB is just such a pain if you're Queen of Pain, right? Because, I'm sorry, I did not intend that. Exist is already 3 levels behind Sing Sing, and now he also can't deal damage to Sing Sing for 10 seconds. As Queen of Pain, you end up in sort of like a, well, what do I do now kind of position. Storm, once he has Bloodstone, if he wants to get a BKB too, he probably could at that point.
Yeah, Storm so far trying to pressure the tier 1 or tier 2 top. He's not, like, he's not going to be able to trade that for sure. I mean, there's no way. He's actually going to be forcing out TPs to maybe try and kill him off. They don't really have a good way to hold Storm in place, though, apart from the Black Hole. Or unless he's out of mana. Oh, zip in, Fiend's Grip up on Eid. And Storm decides, you know what, there's too many people here. I'm out for now. Pylai die. Tries to brain step himself back to life. And comes a hookshot up on Bone 7. One already dead. Can they take down another one? Vacuum attempts to help out. Battery Assault. Can Eid get a range? Eid cannot. There's a surge up for Bone 7. And that should be able to keep himself. In comes another flare. Boom, you're dead still. Double kill for Eid as Storm is able to get himself out. Should be able to get himself out. They don't know that he's still there. Nice pickups for Uebelst.
Nice pickups for Uebelst, unquestionably. That said, Eternal Envy finishes his Bloodstone.
Yeah.
So the fact that he didn't die is a huge deal.
Able to keep himself safe and, well, get his first major item up. After those first kills, though, like he's been fairly calm again in terms of trying to run around the map, trying to get kills.
It became a little more difficult just because the levels improved for Uebelst, and Clockwork started hardcore roaming. Like, he was just roaming all the time. And so it's quite dangerous to rush in. Like, you saw that Pylai die Envy gank, which was like,
yeah,
we might just lose everybody.
Yeah, Envy just decided, you know what? Screw you, Pylai die. I'm out.
Yeah, well,
was a good choice in the end.
5 versus 1, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We have a pressure on the top lane. I mean, Uebelst, they have to continue keeping on the pressure. They know that, and they're gonna try to get the best out of this momentum that they get from KP, basically, before KP is all big and starting to try and actually take fights to Uebelst. So all the outer towers are gonna be the targets. We have the tier 2 top now, a little bit under siege, which is the second last tower still standing on the side of KP outside of their base. We do have Bane hanging around there, trying to push the wave back, but there's Eidolons here. This should still be a tower. Dead.
Yes.
Yep, there we go.
I think this is a good pickup for Uebelst. I think it's the right approach. If they can keep the tier 1 top, the tier 1 bottom alive, this actually lets them just push all the lanes and then go Roche, which might be a nice pickup to try to equalize the if there's ever a 5v5 team fight, I still think Kaipi would be really favored in that. So Uebelst needs something like an Aegis to help out there. And they need to finish this Linkens on the Weaver already so they can move on to bigger items.
Yeah, I mean, a 5-on-5 team fight that involves Shadow Fiend, I mean, that would definitely be a win. Requiem of Souls, no BKBs on the side of Uebelst. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. They will try and take down Roshan, as you said. They kind of need that to have a bit of an upside to them, have a bit of a fail-safe. We're gonna see if they can make it worth it. Because I feel like they are kind of on a time limit. It seems like they play like they know that they're on a time limit, to be fair as well. Familiars do
But this free Rosh is nice.
Yeah. Weaver with the Aegis in the end.
Got both familiars,
Nice.
I think. No, he resummoned one. They only got one.
Okay. Oh yeah. But there's your Bloodstone indeed. 18 minutes into the game. Decent timing
That's
for him for sure.
very, very decent timing. And Queen of Pain, he is charging... One cool thing that Uebelst have done, like, they know that Queen of Pain's behind, so they've been really guaranteeing him some farms. So, like, for instance, at the tier 2 bottom, RMN completely stopped attacking with all of the Eidolons to make sure that Exist got the last hit under the tower. And that's like, you know, that's a team that's like friendly, right? Like they don't hate each other, they're not trying to steal stuff, they're like, hey, you need a little help right now, take the last hit on this tower so you can move towards your Scythe of Ice. And so now he's only about 1200 away. A little more than that, but still.
Yeah, and then they're roaming towards mid lane. Looks like KP is gonna try and backstab though, coming from the top lane and coming from the high ground.
Scary.
Yeah, Uebelst knows that something's wrong. They don't see anybody on the map right now. They don't have that much vision anymore either.
Yeah.
They have to be
Thing
so
is, if they
careful.
fight here, this is like black hole territory though, if they get it. They got past it. This is gonna be really bad for
In
Uebelst.
comes the zip. In comes the vortex already up and exist. Our man, he's gonna be trying to find the best black hole of his life. Can he actually get a Dark Sea roll there? Uebelst tries to maybe get himself away. Here comes a BKB black hole. The BKB up on Shadow Fiend, but the black hole up on our man. Shadow Fiend so far not able to throw out his Requiem of Souls because he does not have any mana. Aegis gets taken down. Weaver will be up again in a second. Hookshot will miss. Kinda awkward for Mead. It looks like we only have the Visage going down in that fight. Uebelst surviving the backstab in quite a nice fashion. Nice dodge! Pili died, dodging the unstable concoction, eh? Alex throwing it out. Nightmare just in time.
Died. Too sick. Too sick. Using those invul frames on the Nightmare. I always love to see that. It's a full second, so if you land it, it's the main thing is actually not getting the timing for the cast. It's like you have to time the cast point relative to the projectile coming in, which is annoying. But
I have to say, I mean, if Sing Sing actually had mana to throw out his Requiem of Souls, that fight would have been so different.
Yeah, quite possibly. It is an Aegis for a Visage, which is a bad trade, quote unquote, for Uebelst. But considering how awful the position was and how well-positioned Kaipi's initiation, the fact that they only paid an Aegis is astonishing almost.
Yeah. I fully agree. I actually expected a I expected a bloodbath for sure. Going in favor of KP as well, since they have been ahead. Even like with the Aegis, Weaver doesn't really have that much just yet. Well, now he has a Linkens, but in terms of, like, he's still pretty squishy.
Yeah.
And with the Fiend script there, I didn't have high hopes for Uebelst, but right now, I mean, after that fight, our man finds himself a Storm Spirit. In comes a stun, up on Envy, is still able to get the kill though, with the Visage Kid taking the last hit and Alex backing off. Both teams having some supports around the corner.
One really big concern for Uebelst that I have is it's just they have such little damage because the Weaver is so far behind. And it's like, if you find anybody like Sing Sing or Envy, how do you actually kill them, right? You can kill Pili Die, like, no problem. He's just a Bane. But it's tougher in a 5v5 situation when Kaipi know that your only damage is on the Weaver. So all they have to do is focus the Weaver, pop his Linkens, and kill him. And you have 0 damage afterwards.
Yeah. No pressure, Queen of Pain, but they kinda need you in the carry role sooner rather than later. I mean, once the BKBs are there, indeed, I mean, it's gonna be very tough for Uebelst to get anything in at all if that Weaver doesn't, you know, scrap up a little bit more. He is 4th in net worth for his team. Clockwork offlane is higher than a safe lane Weaver. Of course, he was having a not easy lane at the start, but hell, Clockwork wasn't having an easy lane at the start as well until he got a kill up on Storm. As your internet kind of dropped away, but you are back again, I believe. Welcome back.
I am back, and I was watching some YouTubes on how to pronounce U's with K-Reese's on them. Diareese's, rather, sorry.
Uebelst. I can't like
Uebelst. Yeah,
Uebelst.
Uebelst
Uebelst.
is the best I can do.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. This is deeply unprofessional, but I think Uebelst still have a
And you're
shot.
doing it again straight away. There's no
well.
E after the L. That's your main
so
mistake.
True. Yeah, you've told me that like 10 times and I still do it. Uebelst. Regardless of how you pronounce their name, as long as they can guarantee space for Weaver, a lot of space,
Yeah.
they should be alright. I still think Weaver can do a lot of work in these fights. They just have to play keep away from Shadow Fiend. There's going to become a point at which Sing Sing has amazing auto attack, in which it becomes extremely difficult for them to deal with Shadow Fiend. But if he's like locked in with Clockwork, and Clockwork builds a Blade Mail now, he suddenly feels a little less comfortable. Either he has to use his BKB early, or he just, has to eat the Blade Mail. And then your Weaver has space to kill people.
It's all if can they get themselves farm on Weaver while keeping on the pressure, because they really still have to do that.
Right.
I mean, outer towers are now done for. We have got Roshan 5 minutes away. How is Uebelst gonna try to keep the pressure on without like really making it clear that they're gonna try to 5-on-5 high ground? Because they can't do that. They just can't.
They can't. I don't think it's a matter really of putting a tremendous pressure on Kaipi. You just need to exert enough map control as Uebelst to like push the lanes in where you can get the free Roshan number 2. With Roshan 2, if Weaver farms very well for the next 4 minutes or so, he should be able to have a Desolator or something. I think if you can get the Deso, you're in a little better shape to at least try a high ground.
We'll see.
And honestly, what they need to do now is if they get a few more levels for Alchemist also, start farming the Alch, get him some Grievel's Greed, go Quiris, and then you have a great pushing composition. Quiris, Deso, beat on the tower, try to sneak a win.
Yeah, regardless, they like disregarding on who, they need a Cross just to counter, like we said previous game, that Necromancy at some point.
Yeah, it's just like, who's gonna carry a Clock? Nah.
Nah. Clock was actually looking for a hook shot. Not the easiest target, a hasted Storm. Definitely not. Oh.
That was the worst way that could have happened.
Well, that's the kind of thing that you see in fails. Like, someone blinks, like an anti-mage blinking into a Pudge hook, which was at some point I read it, but this was the Queen of Pain blinking into the hook of the clock. So miscommunication there. We do, of course, I mean, we saw it in action just now. It wouldn't have been working out anyway because they had it was a haste run up on Envy, so a Hex doesn't really work. You're still a very fast Piglet if you are getting turned into a Piglet.
Black hole, black hole, black hole.
Ooh, black hole indeed. Bone 7 is the target here. Doesn't die from it though. Turns out his BKB tries to run. Arman also using his first BKB charge to try and catch up with them. Sky still looking for something. Won't be able to get it though. And this is a BKB that only just like this courier is on his way back from delivering that BKB to Bone 7.
That was yeah, the Midas paying off. He's got that BKB for that carry Darkseer. That could have been 2 deaths easily. That was very nicely played by Bone 7 to get out of that fight. And Reeves, who just woke up in a cold sweat, now is okay and he goes back to sleep.
Reeves?
Yeah, the Sunsfin and Reeves, the Fills the Week guys.
Why is he? Why was he awake? What? I missed something. I missed the.
I just mean because of the Queen of Pain Clockwork.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Wow. Okay. So we have got the BKB upon Enigma, which is an item that just got used for the first time. The Hex upon the Queen of Pain, just used for the first time. The BKB for the Darkseer, just used for the first time. We have 27 gold up on the Shadow Fiend, up on Sing Sing, and Weaver is still not really farming as fast as I would like him to.
He's not. He's not doing that great. The flip side is they're stealing these Ancients and getting them for Alex. I like this a lot.
Yeah, and he actually picked up his level 1 in his Grievel's Greed. 1600 gold in his inventory.
The nice thing about support Alk is there's this very soft mid-game where he's suddenly extremely not useful because, he's not able to just destroy people with Medallion Concoction Spray anymore. But, end game, you still have an Alchemist. You still have a guy that has some carry potential. This is actually, to me, the sign of a hero that's a little bit over curve, is like, you can play him as support and like still carry super hard later.
If the game lasts long enough, if your enemy team allows you to, I mean, finding farm can sometimes be difficult as supports later on in the game, depending on how many cores you have. But because Weaver is not that much of a flash farmer, it's actually very easy to split the farm up a little bit more. Queen of Pain also, now maybe a little bit more of a flash farmer even than the Weaver, but I mean he's got a Scythe of Ice, he's got his ways to find farm, and you still can get farm as an Alchemist. And the small camps, for example, are way more rewarding for an Alchemist than they would be for a Queen of Pain.
That's a fantastic point, because, yeah, of course he gets the Greevil's effect on them. The other, exist. He's probably
Exist.
dead.
In comes the hookshot though, trying to
Maybe not.
save him. Uebelst in some trouble. Sonic Wave. That's gonna be Storm already picked off with a Sonic Wave. Fiend's Grip still up on Armen. Armen gets picked up. No black hole for you this fight. As we see Alex in some trouble, trying to hide behind some trees. Exist. Getting away. Eat. Hookshot away. Soul Subject. Boom, you're dead. That's gonna be gem on the floor, but at least it's an even or semi-even trade. 2-4-1. Alchemist set up on Bone 7, but Uebelst will not be able to go in on it. And because of Envy having a Bloodstone, he's already back alive again. While Clockwork is still dead for another 40 seconds. Enigma was forced to buy back because he has his black hole again in 12 seconds, and he wants to try and take a fight at the Roche pit because that's what they fought for. Of course, both teams want to really get that Aegis.
Yeah, that was really good initiation from Kaipi. Very smart to force out the buyback from Enigma. Now there's no Clockwork, he can't steal it. Armen might try another high ground black hole here. He did cut it down with Midnight Pulse, and he doesn't have Blink. So Kaipi, they don't feel safe. Yeah.
I don't blame them. Of course, the Swarm would give some vision indeed also to Armen if he wanted to try and go for high ground black hole just to see if it would work. You don't want to do that blind, obviously.
No.
But
certainly not.
Where shall we?
Not a great fight for Uebelst. There's still a lot going for them. I mean, the tower advantage is such a big deal. Like the fact that they still have this tier 1. Not only does it let them refresh, like if Kaipi die and buy back, only Storm even has a chance of getting back to the fight. If Uebelst die at the Roche Pit and buy back, it's extremely easy for them to get back in the fight. The other thing that having this tier 1 gives them is really good access to the east half of the Radiant Jungle. You were talking about how they essentially want to guarantee 3 people farm at this point with Alex. Oh, here's trouble though.
Yeah, Vortex up the high ground. Off with you, Alex. He does have TP scrolls. Tier 2 is where he's going to, and of course... Oh. Well, let's see if they can get an Aegis at least, because Uebelst is gonna go in. Already the minus armor, -2 up on Roshan, -8. So fast.
It looks like Kaipi are backing off, because again, they know that in a fair fight, it's extremely difficult with the buybacks. What they can do is try to steal with Envy.
Yeah, and I'm thinking he's gonna try it. It's not one of the plays that I would normally assume from Envy, but I think that he might be infected by the Bone 7 virus.
If you're gonna play Storm, you better play Storm,
He's
man.
gonna be too late. He's gonna be too late.
You think?
Yeah.
Alright.
Weaver with
They
the
might try to
Aegis.
catch them.
Dire's middle
Well,
tower
Familiar's back off. KP back off. The Invis room was there on Storm, doesn't matter. We have got now also an Aghanims ready up on the Visage now. So 3 Familiars are summoned.
They're getting there. Uebelst are... It's so funny because it's 17-8 and I'm still talking about like how they can like hang on and maybe pull a win, but this has been very scary for them for a very long time, and it still is because Shadowfiend is a full Daedalus. But Alchemist has 2.4k. If he survives another couple of fights, that Cuirass will come up and that'll be a big deal.
Yeah. Look at the gold graph, by the way. It's never been more than 2.3k gold in favor of KP.
Right.
Like, the difference is minimal. Although you have to keep in mind, there's 4 towers standing on the side of Uebelst. That's free gold to pick up if KP does get themselves a bit more control over the map.
It is. And I just, again, I wish Sky had more. I kind of wish Exist had more, but yeah, I understand why they don't. BKB for Queen of Pain will be a pretty big deal, although Shadowfiend could still just destroy her. The bigger thing is they gotta get more for Weaver.
Yeah. I mean, he still doesn't have more items than what he had 10 minutes ago. He has a Lincolns and Treads. Ooh. That's it.
I feel like Desolator is still the right choice for him, especially now that they... Oh, the Visage is on, sorry. AUI has his Ags, that's good. He goes for Vlad's on Alk. I like the armor bonus. I still kind of wish he just went a little more, like, bold, though, with the Cuirass.
Can we call that a poor man's Assault Cuirass?
It basically is, right? Because it's only going to give him lifesteal, right? Well, it'll give Clockwork lifesteal, but...
Yeah, he hits like a truck.
Yeah, he does with Armlet, but...
Well, he's not going for Armlet, or at least he is going for a 4-staff now still. And he has got the eggs, of course, already. I mean, he has got 9 kills. That's most of everybody in the game.
He has had a very good game. My only problem, and it's not a problem with him, it's just that Clockwork will not do as much damage from now on, basically. He's just a hook bot. And it's fine to be a hook bot, but you have to have somebody who is going to do that damage. And Sky, It's really hard to ramp it up as Weaver like this. Like, you're just not a great wave clearer.
And, I mean, this Shadow Fiend has got a Deadless. If he gets the freedom to attack, Weaver will drop very fast. I mean, Lincolns or not, he doesn't care about right clicks.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Weaver will be able to kill, or will be dying to the Shadow Fiend if he gets his way. But, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on the Enigma then as well. No Blink Dagger for him to set. Hook shot. Gets himself Bone 7, who gets Hexed, Sonic Waved, and killed off. Nice pick off. And KP will not be able to do anything for a while. They have been playing very safe though. Like, we've seen the Shadow Fiend only taking the farm that comes in towards his base since the Aegis is up on Uebelst. We've seen everybody sitting into their base until Bone 7 decided to take an excursion, as we do have a time lapse away from the Weaver, who's running himself out of this. Nice central word placement.
Yeah, the maximum centuries. So, Uebelst, I think they still have Aegis. They're gonna see if they can high ground because Bone 7's down. He doesn't have buyback, which is interesting. So they do have 30 seconds. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Nice familiar stuns. Alex already getting picked up. Boom, you're dead. Hookshot in. Pilot dive will be the target, but Eid. Oh, that's not where you want to be. Double kill for Sing Sing, and that's gonna be the rest of Uebelst backing off. Perhaps we're gonna see a chase, but actually Envy zipped into his fountain. After turning on his BKB, he did use his BKB for that fight that he only just completed. And now we have a Blink Dagger up on the Enigma. We of course still have the Aegis, and the Desolator is on its way.
BKB is a fantastic pickup for Eternal Envy in this game. That's why he was playing a little bit safer. He really wanted it. I don't know. That was a pretty big loss for Uebelst. Gotta give the props to AUI there for excellent familiar stunning, which essentially gave them both of those kills. Well, the Alchemist and then I think Clockwork, that was a little bit of a miscommunication. It was fairly obvious that his team wanted to leave, but he just went in anyway.
He was like, no, we're fighting. Okay, you fight, we leave.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Clock had such a great early game, but there has to be a handoff. There has to be this period where your early game initiator sort of passes the torch to the rest of your team, and they're not ready to pick that torch up yet.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I get that Uebelst wanted to go in because they picked up the Darkseer, but like right after that fight, we've got the Deadless up. We've got the Desolator up. We've got the BKB up on the Queen of Pain, and we've got the Blink Dagger up on the Enigma. 3 big items that if they would have had that in the previous fight, that fight might have ended way different. And now they can't fight for a while, or maybe they still will. If they can find a pickup,
they can try to catch people.
Yeah.
They have good warding.
They do. Indeed they do.
I just want more for Alex. I want him to be the shadow carry of this game, and I would be happy to see that. I just feel like they have more of the map in their sort of domain, and yet they don't see. It doesn't feel like they're pulling more out of the map than Kaipi is, which they should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. 4,200 gold up on Sing Sing, as he probably wants to finish his Mantis Tower probably soon. Uebelst, still waiting for them to make their move. They've got everything up again. Will they want to wait until they have been able to find a pickoff somewhere?
I'm not sure. It feels to me like they have a sound strategy, and it's just something in it is just not coming together. They're just maybe spending too much time like moving and not farming, or maybe they're just, I don't know. It's tough to say. Alex charging up Concoction onto...
Yeah, but he won't be able to catch Envy at all. In comes a hookshot though, that will catch him, but is the Hex gonna be in time? Yes it is! They don't catch him in the cogs, but they might be able to kill him down, burst him down, a soul ball, zip away, and TP out perhaps? Trying to, won't be able to, was up on the high ground, and that is gonna be meaning that there's not gonna be an engagement anytime soon anymore, because now we're waiting for the well, KP to be out of position again, perhaps, and also for everything to be off cooldown again.
You got Aoi, Valkyrieing the towers here. He almost gets it down, the tier 2. That's a free way for Kaipi to re-establish map control.
Taking out the outer towers, and of course free gold to boot. Who doesn't love that? And especially Bane, I think, would love that. Pilot Eye is a very, very poor support.
Yep. Dat 5-roll, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, compared to the 5-roll of Uebelst, which is definitely Alex, he is quite far behind in terms of gold. 3k gold behind. That's a lot. But I mean, he doesn't have Grievous Greed, I guess. Alex does. And has actually got level 2 on that one. What are you waiting for, as in terms of what's going to happen next? Who's going to be leading the engagement?
If Uebelst could somehow like start getting more items, the power of the Pentacore should be enough to catch them up. But they're not farming any faster, which really bothers me. I know I've commented on like a 1,000 times, but it's gonna, at this point, it'll probably be Kaipi, because Shadow Fiend will get so big that they're like, okay, it's now reasonable for us to just go. I think Satanic for Shadow Fiend is one trump card too many, potentially, for Uebelst, in the absence of just a perfect black hole. Either way, even if they wait it out, the next Roche is one that Kaipi will also feel fairly comfortable taking. It's also a cheese Roshan.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, I think Kaipi are very much on the in control. Even though they're not in control of like the map, really, but they are in control of the fate of the game in some respects, I feel.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
There's Satanic, there's Ags. In my opinion, Kaipi can either wait for Roche and just take that fairly freely, or just push and probably take a tower fairly freely.
And then next to that, there is about 6k difference in terms of net worth between the Shadow Fiend and the second highest on the map, which is at this point the Weaver. Surprisingly,
Mm-hmm.
Weaver is top in the charge for his team. It's about time, but he's got his deadlifts, of course. That definitely helps. But it's a big difference.
It is. Shadow Fiend is doing about 300 a hit, non-crit. When he crits, it's going to do more like, 700. That's enough to get there. That's enough to blow up almost anybody on Uebelst who... I just did it again. Who still... They have good AoE armor with the Vlads, but the Cuirass would still be great. I think that's what Alex is going to move to... Wow. AUI. Just being a jerk. He might lose a couple of these.
I think he's going to go for the tower, yeah. He wants to... Nope, deny. He resummoned them actually, he lost one.
He resummoned 2, he lost 1. It's worth it for the tower. Yeah.
Tower
Even though it's a deny, like it's worth it just to get rid of it.
Definitely true.
There's a DD hanging out down here. This could be a huge deal. If Shadow Fiend takes this, Kaipi, for the duration of the DD, there's no chance of Uebelst taking a fight. If Weaver gets it, I think they can actually try to rush or something once Roche is up. Do you know what the timer is? Mine's disappeared again.
The timer is about 1 minute. A little bit less.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay, well, Uebelst still, we could see RMN building towards Refresher eventually. We saw it last game. He does have Treads and not Arcane Boots, but he can switch them to Intelligence for a little bit more flat mana.
And we already have him cleaning out the trees. He does have a Blink Dagger this time though.
He could go Sheep too. I would like Sheep probably a little more.
Smoke up for KP. We see the drawing on the minimap. They're gonna try to backstab them again. Previous time when they did that didn't really work out as intended, as in wasn't really a win in terms of how big they would have probably wanted it to be.
I think
we
this
have
one
the
could be
pings
a
though. The
big
pings
win.
come already out from Sky. They know that something's happening up on the high ground. Eid is gonna be the first one scouted out. He will see them. They are scouted out. Eid tries to hookshot away, won't be able to do so, gets picked off, and that is gonna be KP backing off. Sorry, Uebelst backing off from the Roche pit. Alex still walking around there with the stun, is able to land it up on AY. Has to run now as Sing Sing just bashing on him, taking him down, looking for the next target. BKB's all around. In comes the Hex, the Black Hole, the Sonic Wave, but Arman Fiend's gripped and taken down. Another kill going the way of Sing Sing. AY still alive, and it's only Queen of Pain that is left alive on the side of Uebelst, who was able to TP himself out, but that's going to be Roshan for KP. 4 dead and a tier 2 tower to boot. Is actually KP gonna go for Roche, or are they gonna try high ground?
They're gonna go tier 3, see if they can trigger some buybacks. If they don't see buybacks, they'll just take the tier 3 and win the game. If they do see buybacks, they'll go to Roche.
There are buybacks on everybody apart from the Clock and the Alchemist. So 2 buybacks basically.
They really want to trigger these, and if again, if Uebelst, don't blink, they're just gonna take the racks, which they can't afford to lose.
That's gonna be one. There's one buyback. In comes the TP. And the buyback for the other one as well. Everybody back alive again. Our men looking for a Malefice. Ooh, has to turn around. Look at that damage. The Familiars might be able to get the kill here. Our men forced back to base. In the meantime, hookshot in. Eid gets himself bone 7. Takes a soul summon to the face as Sing Sing gets hexed up. Is there more damage though? Where's the damage? Can Weaver actually do it? Pylai die. Still on a very low HP. Able to try to do whatever he can. But it is KP that is able to win this fight once again. Weaver not able to do the damage that was needed. Sing Sing able to just come back, turn on his BKB and wreck everybody. Our men, of course, back inside the fountain. Same thing goes for Exist, back inside his base. He has got a BKB, but he won't be able to use it. He won't be able to do anything with it. This is KP taking clear Rex and going out to the tier 2 because they can't rotate into the mid lane just yet. Maybe tier 2 and Roshan, depending on if they want to end it or not. But this is 2 fights in a row now. One by KP and just showing like they are indeed... Like right now, just ahead in terms of fight. If there's no good, brilliant black hole, then it's KP's fight.
Yeah. I think in the end, just individual mechanical acumen a little bit different between the two teams, and you just see that. Like, Sing Sing just not really answerable.
Oh, exist. I think you're gonna be dying. Blink away with his BKB. Use it defensively.
2 BKBs. They have to walk off now. Yeah. It's probably another set of Rex.
Yep, why not?
It's...
Maybe some acid spray. Trying to help out familiars as well. In comes Eid, already stunned by a familiar. More stuns from familiars. Hookshot misses. Sonic Wave up on Storm Spirit. He's able to zip himself out for now. In comes the Cog. Sing Sing doesn't really care though. Charges Requiem of Souls. Goes for Eid. No, goes for the Rex. Eid's only second priority, but still in some trouble. Tries to stun the familiars, but still he goes down. Queen of Pain still able to kill off the Visage. That's at least nice that Sing Sing does get stunned, but apparently still, he is still in this. He still has his Satanic. And he can just sit here and hit stuff and live. He is just that big right now.
Yep.
Oh, Vortex, Alex killed off before he can throw out a stunner. Man, you're vacuum into the wall, and that's a double kill for Sing Sing. A kill for the Visage as well, and that's the GG well played. Uebelst, they just didn't have an answer to that one, and I don't think that we were having any doubt that in the end it might have indeed this kind of ending.
No, and I think some of Uebelst's strategic decisions in this game rested on something of a miscalculation, or maybe they tried to go for something that was strategically fairly sound, but just was a little bit beyond what they could pull out of the map and their own abilities. Like, a lot of the item decisions rested on the idea that Weaver was going to do enough damage, and that assumption was not borne out at all. Like, imagine if in that last fight, instead of Vlad's plus plate mail, Alex has the fight at which they ended up taking the 2 or 3 alpha.
Yeah.
Imagine Alchemist has Cuirass, and imagine Clockwork has something like Armlet Blade Mail, rather than Aghanim Scepter. The Ags is like, we're going to get a lot of initiations, and we have enough damage to follow up those initiations into wins. The Vlads is like, we have enough damage, so it's better for us to get a little bit of like lifesteal and stuff like that, rather than the Cuirass. Like, I about whether these decisions were vindicated, and in the end, Uebelst just didn't have enough gas in the tank to just drive over Kaipi. That said, they played a very good game, frankly. Like, no shame in this game, and Clockwork had definitely the best performance we've seen from this player at Star Ladder so far.
I have to say, I agree. Of course, this was our last game of tonight. It was, of course, game number 5 of StarSeries. It was day 7. Tomorrow we're going to jump ourselves to day 8. There's only 2 games tomorrow, by the way. I'm just going to call them out real quick. We're going to have another postpone. We're going to only have 1 game tomorrow, which is at 1800 CST time. It is the first game that Fnatic will play in the season. They'll be up against Duza, but it's the only game that is listed for tomorrow, unfortunately, for all you Dota fans. I do believe there's going to be more games that you can watch though. Natolic Pro League will be played as well, I believe. Anyways, don't forget to follow us both on Twitter. Of course, I'm Shiver Gaming on Twitter. My co-caster is Vickermon on Twitter. The way it's written is, of course, listed in the bottom right. You can see that. Any more plugins for you? Shout outs?
No, I mean, thanks for having me on. Thanks to Star Ladder and, of course, the viewers for checking us out. I apologize both for the audio issues in Game 1 and my utter inability to pronounce simple German words in Game 5. Well, I think I maybe got it by the end. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we'll never know unless we have a German on the cast here that can actually correct us every time we say it wrong.
I've got somebody in Steam chat who's correcting me.
Wrong again.
Yep.
As long as we're doing apologies, then apologies for missing more kills than I normally do, and for having sloppy camera work in the last game. There, said it. But anyways, we are going to be jumping ourselves out of the game. I'm going to be giving you commercials and music. If you want to stick around for that, of course, that is to support us. That would be greatly appreciated. And if not, I'm going to wish you a good evening, and I hope to see you back tomorrow again. And that is basically everything that I want to say. Yeah, okay. I'm out. Bye-bye.